What really happened between Jimin and Jungkook? Why did Jimin suddenly open his voice, and Jungkook's reply actually made everyone speechless? This emotional story will open up a side of their relationship that has never been revealed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you also feel their relationship is more than just a co-worker. This question began to resonate in ARMY's mind after one emotional moment was captured in a personal interview session conducted after a BTS photo shoot. In the now viral video footage, Jimin, who usually appears cheerful and calm, is seen losing control when he says Jungkook's name. Not only did his expression change, but his tone of voice seemed to carry the weight of years. And then, the unexpected happened. Jungkook's reply came a few hours later and not only changed the mood, but left the entire ARMY in an emotional silence. This isn't just a celebrity story. It's a slice of reality from two people who have shared a stage, a sweat, and even an inner wound that not everyone knows about. This moment opens a page that has been kept tight, and only those who really pay attention will realize that Jimin and Jungkook's relationship is much deeper than what is shown to the public. Jimin sat quietly in a well-lit room, illuminated only by the light of a small spotlight in the corner of the studio. He wears a simple black hoodie, a hat that covers part of his face, and a hand that constantly plays a small ring on the middle finger. The interviewer asked in a light tone, "Which member most often makes you confused, but you still can't get away from him?" Without hesitation, Jimin replied softly, "Jungkook." But it wasn't that word that surprised everyone, except for a long pause afterwards. His gaze no longer looked at the camera, but fell to the floor as if there was something he was unable to say. "He changed," he continued. "But not because he wants to. I know that. I see it every day, and I do. I know he's holding back a lot of things." The word hangs in the air. There were no spectators in the room. Only the crew and staff suddenly fell silent. The moment was then edited and released to the public, and ARMY immediately reacted. What does Jimin mean? What is Jungkook holding back? Does this have anything to do with the rumors of a split that HYB has denied? It took less than 4 hours before the names Jimin and Jungkook were trending simultaneously in more than 15 countries. But none of the fans expected that Jungkook's reply would be so quick and silent. That night, Jungkook uploaded a short video to his Weverse account. No background music, no filters. Only her face looked tired, and her eyes were like they had just finished crying. He looked straight into the camera, and the first sentence he said made thousands of ARMY immediately goosebumps. "Hyung, if you're watching this, sorry, I made you wait too long for an answer." His lips trembled as he said the next sentence, as if gathering the courage that had been locked tightly within him. "I haven't changed. I just am too scared to show that I'm hurt." He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, then opened them again. "I heard everything. And I also missed the times when we could still talk without cameras, without scripts, without fear of what others might think. I missed you, Hyung." That last sentence wasn't just touching. It shattered the walls of resilience of millions of fans who had long wondered why two people so close were now so far apart, even on stage. Jungkook's reply was not a clarification. It was a confession. And more than that, it was an unspoken apology for many years. Since that night, Weverse has been flooded with thousands of comments from the ARMY who have been unable to hide their emotions. Some were crying. Some were angry with HYB for supposedly pressuring the members to stay looking good. And some began to reveal old clips that showed that Jimin and Jungkook's relationship had indeed experienced deep tension, even though it was always wrapped in laughter and jokes. Some fans even reshared a snippet of a video from 2018. In which Jimin and Jungkook are seen fighting a little behind the scenes before a concert. At that time, the media called it a regular discussion between members, but now everything looks different. The context changes. Narratives that used to be taken for granted are now taken as clues that something has gone bad long before the public realizes it. The question remains, what exactly happened between them? Why did Jimin just open his voice now? And what does Jungkook mean by hurt? Is there any pressure that has been hidden by the two for the sake of maintaining BTS's image? In a podcast recorded a few weeks earlier, but only released after this incident, a former BTS staffer said on condition of anonymity, "There were times when Jimin came home early from rehearsals, and Jungkook stayed alone in the studio. Sometimes they don't talk for days at a time, even when they're performing together. But when the cameras came on, they were very different people. It wasn't acting, it was their loyalty to the group, to the army. The remark opened the eyes of many fans who have so far seen all BTS interactions as a reflection of an intact friendship. But the truth is that, like relationships between people in general, they are also fragile, wounded, and full of complexities that are not easy to explain. After Jungkook's video went viral, Jimin did not immediately respond. He disappeared from social media for 2 days. And when he finally showed up, it wasn't the long words he gave. Just a photo, 2 pairs of shoes that they used to wear a lot during training, and a short caption, "Maybe we just need time." That photo alone was enough to make millions of ARMY explode in emotion. The hashtag Jungkook rebuild began to appear. Theories abound, ranging from the assumption that their relationship is being repaired to speculation that HYB is trying to keep them from communicating with each other publicly. Some ARMY even launched a petition for the agency to provide greater space for members to express their feelings, especially in a mental state that is not always stable due to the pressure of the entertainment industry. A South Korean entertainment industry official, speaking on condition of anonymity, said, "This could be a turning point." During this time, BTS is known as a group that is always harmonious. But when the reality of their personal relationship began to open up, many fans felt closer. They are not perfect, and that makes them more real. Right. It's that imperfection that makes this moment so meaningful. When 2 people who have been through so much together finally open up to each other's wounds, not for drama, not for popularity, but because they really want to understand each other again. This incident is a warning that behind the glitter of the stage and applause, there are silent stories waiting to be heard. Jimin and Jungkook are not just idols. They are human beings who also feel loss, fear, and longing. They are 2 individuals who are struggling not only to survive as artists, but also as once very close relatives, and are now trying to bridge the distance formed by time, pressure, and public expectations that never stop. And in the silence created by Jungkook's words, one thing became abundantly clear. Sometimes, belated honesty is more touching than thousands of timely clarifications. Still curious what's really going on behind the scenes? Will Jimin and Jungkook's relationship improve or crack forever? Give your opinion in the comments. Do you also feel that this is not just an ordinary conflict? Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the latest updates about the relationship of BTS members that are increasingly draining emotions. If you're part of an ARMY that once felt like their relationship was too perfect for real, maybe it's time to see them as whole people. And in their quietest honesty, maybe we can find new reasons to love them more deeply than before. What made it all the more controversial was how fans began to allege that the agency, HYB, was actively trying to dampen and obscure the apparent tension between Jimin and Jungkook. Many noticed how after the emotional video from Jungkook was released, BTS's official account ostensibly distracted the public by posting old group portraits, editing old footage of them that seemed to get along, and even working with the media to create a narrative that there was nothing to worry about. But the ARMY is not a passive spectator. They know when something is natural and when something is just engineered for the sake of preserving the image. What made it all the more controversial was how fans began to allege that the agency, HYB, was actively trying to dampen and obscure the apparent tension between Jimin and Jungkook. Many noticed how after the emotional video from Jungkook was released, BTS's official account ostensibly distracted the public by posting old group portraits, editing old footage of them that seemed to get along, and even working with the media to create a narrative that there was nothing to worry about. But the ARMY is not a passive spectator. They know when something is natural and when something is just engineered for the sake of preserving the image. Not a few fans claim that there has actually been an internal conflict for years between the 2. One former longtime staffer who is now active in the entertainment world revealed in his viral live stream that there was once a moment where Jimin came out of the rehearsal room with red eyes after a long discussion with Jungkook. While Jungkook remained in the room, and slammed a bottle of mineral water against the wall. Although there was no official confirmation, this story immediately spread and was used as evidence by many fans that there were old wounds that had not healed between the two. It doesn't stop there. One of the most surprising theories emerged from the international army community, who speculated that Jimin once tried to stay away from Jungkook emotionally due to pressure from outsiders who disliked their intimacy. An anonymous message from an industry insider said that someone from HYB executives felt their relationship was too confusing for BTS's image globally. And since then, various promotional agendas have slowly torn them apart. However, of all the rumors, the most disturbing was the issue that over the past few months, Jungkook had actually sent Jimin several private messages that were not returned. One fan even claimed to have a screenshot of Jungkook's message that contained just one short sentence: "I miss you, but I know you don't want me around." The source has yet to be ascertained, but the screenshot went viral on X and TikTok with millions of interactions, leaving ARMY's heart in pieces and questioning the extent to which the wound has eaten into their friendship. What made it all the more poignant was Jimin's silent response. No clarification, no defense, no rebuttal. It just remains silent. And in a noisy world like the K-pop industry, silence can be noisier than a scream. Some fans began to feel that perhaps it wasn't just Jungkook who was hurt, but Jimin was also harboring deep wounds. Wounds that he didn't want to share with anyone because they were too personal, too painful, or even too dangerous for the public to know. One thing that further muddies the atmosphere is the fact that some of their moments together that previously often appeared in BTS's content are now systematically deleted. There was a snippet of a live video showing the awkward interaction between them, but in the official edited version uploaded to YouTube, that moment was completely omitted. The fans immediately made a comparison between the live version and the official version, and the results were completely suspicious. It was alleged that the BTS production team was asked to remove or modify emotional moments that showed a real distance between the two. There were also claims that one of the reasons Jungkook had disappeared from some schedules was because he had a panic attack after a private discussion with Jimin leaked into the ears of management. The content is not yet known, but many believe that the discussion contains Jungkook's deepest feelings that he has buried. Feelings about how he feels to have lost his place in the heart of the person he once believed to be the brother and best friend who understood him the most. This, of course, was never admitted by HYB, but Jungkook's absence at several key moments only strengthened public suspicion. What is heartbreaking is when fans start digging back into their respective solo songs and find hidden lyrics that seem to answer each other. In the song Letter, Jimin writes about someone he misses but can no longer approach. And in the song My You, Jungkook responds with a deep note of loss, as if longing for the warmth of the past that he can no longer hold. The lyrics have now been reread, reinterpreted, and for some of the ARMY, there is no doubt that the songs are addressed to each other. But perhaps the most shocking was not from what they said or didn't say, but rather from one rare video that ended up being leaked by staff, who felt frustrated that the media narrative was constantly being dragged in the direction of everything is fine. In the video, Jungkook and Jimin are both in the rehearsal room, sitting opposite each other, staring at each other in silence. The camera captured the moment when Jungkook finally said, "Was I too honest that time?" And Jimin just replied, "It's not about honesty, Kook, but the way you made me feel wasn't enough to stay." It was an explosion of emotion never seen on camera before. It's not a scripted variety show. It was a conversation of two people whose hearts no longer knew to be restored or abandoned. And when the video leaked, no one could ignore anymore that something serious had indeed happened. Now all eyes are on their next move. Will they make peace? Will HYB give them the space to improve everything humanly without the intervention of image and brand? Or precisely this conflict will be the trigger for extreme decisions such as a personal hiatus, cancellation of a collaboration project, or even the departure of one of them. ARMY is now not just waiting for a musical comeback. They are waiting for an answer. They are waiting for honesty that is no longer obscured by the camera's glare, no longer hidden behind stage smiles, and no longer written in cryptic lyrics. They are waiting for the moment when the two people who were once called soulmates on stage can talk to each other again. Not as idols, not as commercial products, but as human beings who are hurt, want to be understood, and want to go back home to each other. That